Okay, we're recording.
Okay, now we open our special meeting of the Cambridge City Council. It's 7:42. First item of business is Leland and Deidre Roundtree special use request. The application is requesting a special use permit to allow for a dwelling to be placed on a parcel greater than 1 acre but less than 20 acres of property located off Mill Road, east of Cambridge, within the Cambridge City area of impact. RP 14 North 03 West 022300 recommendation to Washington County Commissioners. It's an action item.
I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation of Leland and Deidre.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
It's built, baby, built.
So we're going to have you still leave us here?
So the what?
Sure, why
Leave
not?
us here?
No, you can go home.
I have already paid you here,
Now you gotta go deal with Bonnie in the county.
okay? So you guys are gonna get everything to them, and then Bonnie can give it to the commissioners, and then I can fill out for my turn the permit. Yeah. Thank you all.
Thanks for coming.
Okay, next order of business. Approved bid for commercial street. CA 23-0347, Idaho Strategic Initiatives Grant that we received.
Everybody happy with the bid? Look like?
Why is it so low?
Good question.
It's a good question.
We had it vetted, HECO vetted it out because we were concerned about that too, and we're concerned about the company. But everything, from what they can tell, checks out. The company is kind of just venturing out, but it has done some projects. It just got done doing one for the city of Melba and for the city of Boise. It was a parking lot for the city of Boise, and it was curb and gutter and street for Melba, and they've done a few other projects and stuff too.
What are these sheets back here? I'm not
So
following.
those are the public works licenses for all the subcontractors that were listed.
So why is Knife River subcontractor? What are they gonna do?
They're gonna
They're
do all
gonna
the
pave
paving, and that's,
Paving.
Yeah, they're gonna do the
and so
asphalt
Knife
project.
River is a big outfit, and they're doing the majority of the job, probably, as far as the
They're
finance part of it, a
They're
good
just gonna do the
only
share of it.
$250,000.
Yeah, but
That's all the paving's gonna cost us $250,000.
that's on a breakdown that we have.
Got the trucking up
They're-
here and everything?
That's their breakdown,
That's
and
what
how they
they-
came up with it, but, you know, if they forgot something, they bid it, they lose money.
Yeah.
They've gotta do it to specs.
Yeah, it's built to
Can they
spec.
come for a changeover or?
Yes, yes. They're,
Yeah.
I mean, if it's a legitimate change order, right, something that's not, something that changes the scope of what's not in the plans and specs, they can do a change order. So,
And we did find out that, from the Strategic Grant Initiative people, that they said that we can keep the rest of the money, and we can use it, but we have to account for it. They didn't give any specifics.
Can we use that part of the money and do something with the other street up there?
Well, we got lots of streets, and
We'll have
so,
them bid on it too.
so the mayor has some ideas that we've ran past HECO.
So my thought, so we've got all this extra money. And I thought, well, how can we do that with this project, doing change orders? And so, actually, Corey and I were on the same wavelength on this, is as we come down, let's assume we start at Ernie's house and start coming this way. And so we come to that first street, Holler, And that's a change order. We're gonna pave Holler out to the state highway. And then we keep coming down and the road becomes a little wider there. Maybe we can add a little width to the pavement as it gets towards the motel. And then, once we get to the co-op, maybe add a little more width there because of the circumstances there. And then come past the library and start necking it back down. When we get in front of the library, take that street out to the highway. And then keep coming down the lumberyard and to Bucky's, take that street, take it out to the highway, pave all that. So pave all the entrances to that road
Right.
and just go on down.
And maybe McKinley,
And then when we get to McKinley,
I'd like my folk, I would like, I don't know about Corey or whoever, but I'd rather see it in front of the fire hall as much as possible.
Yeah. Well, and that's,
fire department,
Yeah,
well, we're going right past.
right,
We're
but I'm
going right
saying
across
I'd
the front
like
of
to
it.
focus on that.
Yeah.
well, that's,
Okay, we can
that'll-
start at
that's
that end.
part
if
of the
you want.
project, though.
That's
There-
all.
Right.
that was bid in the project.
Yeah, that's
for
all
them
part
to
of the
do.
What do they do with that post that's hanging out there? That, the telephone pod, or is that what a telephone?
Where at?
Right next to Macedo's lot, that green, it's, hangs out in the road
the
almost.
telephone ped pad.
Yeah.
I don't, that's CTC's. Gosh, I would think, well, no, because they still have copper running to it. They have to pave around it, I guess.
Is it in the right of way?
Oh, yeah.
It's 24 feet on the money. Me and Macedo measured it the other day because we were curious what, isn't that, is that what that's supposed to be, is 24 feet through there?
No, actually, the plans call for 18 to 20 feet of pave, but
But
that's,
that could
you
be a
know,
change order is to bump those
Yeah,
up to
to-
24
widen it.
and spend that money.
so we have $432,678, which is the difference out of what we had in construction and contingency money in the project left.
So,
So Braun Jensen's bid that came in, it's within the amount that we got for the grant, but we'd already spent a bunch on engineering, so actually it's $120,000, $120,800 over our construction and contingency. So we would have to come up with that amount out of our general fund in order to accept that bid.
and in talking with Darren, he said the problem with the plans and specs is it's lump sum. So trying to account for any potential liabilities, like when they did Second Street, they found a huge mud hole underneath, you know, and so that was a lot of extra stuff,
That's what I
so.
thought about if we start and we find some hiccup between here and there that we're gonna need some money to.
Well, from my understanding, because it hasn't sat well in my stomach since the bid opening on Monday, this other company, but that's it. If they, I mean, the CSE, Compliance Solutions and Contracting, is gonna have to eat it. You know, if they think it's gonna cost them more and it's part of the scope, they're gonna have to eat it.
Very good.
Yeah, and they're bonded, you know, so, you know, there's some protection there. And I did talk to HECO that we want the meanest inspector they have. So we want
Where
someone.
did you say that they did work at? Melba, Homedale?
Melba, I believe it
So
was.
does anybody have contact to see how their work was when they were done?
HECO was aware of it. They didn't say it was bad work, but I did, you know. I don't know how they knew of it or viewed it or anything.
You know anything about Bar 7 Trucking?
Yes.
Same people.
That's who that is?
Yeah.
Cause they called Matt Harvey asking him how to get out the rock pit. And he told him, and they go, you drive right by Levi Harrison's house? And I go, I don't know who that is. I've never heard of that company ever, but I know who Bar 7 is.
Yeah, that's there. So Bar 7 has been around since 2008.
Yeah, it's John Blake is the president of
Yeah.
the company. Yeah.
And 2015 is when Compliance Solutions and Contracting showed up on Better Business Bureau. Basically, that's when they opened, you know.
But I guess the good feeling about it is if they're gonna sub it out to Knife River, we know Knife River is a credible company.
Oh, the paving part of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the paving is only as good as the base and the
Right,
sub-base.
exactly.
Yeah.
Now, they did have one contractor that didn't have an active Public Works contractor's license, And we looked into whether that was a loophole to get out of it if you wanted to, or how that played into it. And they were responsive to the requests from HECO and stuff, and found out that that company expected it within 5 days, and actually they've already received it. But they had someone else already lined up in case that didn't work. And in talking to the city attorney, it wasn't the date we award the bid, it's the date that the work starts,
Contract
whether
starts,
that made a difference or not. That it, it didn't have to be in place. We wouldn't have a loophole as far as awarding the bid. We could have a problem with it when they started work. So those were a couple other.
So, I mean, initially, we had huge concerns, but the more information we get, the more confident we are that we can force them to do a good job. And we're gonna have a bunch of extra money, and we can do a bunch of extra work. So we're just looking at it with a positive outlook, saying this is gonna be great.
Originally, last week, when we were talking with HECO as far as what else we could include in the project, and we didn't know exactly how it had to tie in with the state highway system too, which this proposal here ties in directly because they're cross streets to the highway system, to an alternate for the highway system. But we had talked, and HECO said that we probably could consider First Street. But, we kind of felt that maybe this other would be, we wouldn't have to have two projects and another bid and different things, and it might be a little bit cleaner cut with ITD on this grant if we had one project and had change orders.
And we've still got First Street in the hopper on other monies.
Does it have to be engineered to add-ons? I mean, is that, I've had a lot of people,
In talking with Andy at HECO this morning with the mayor and Sandra, it sounded like it, doing change orders for that, paving out that way wouldn't be too much of a, wouldn't be too difficult to do.
I've had a lot of people concerned about people driving on it once it gets nice. So asking about any possibility of speed bumps or.
I don't know.
All it takes is a phone call to the sheriff.
No, that won't
Yeah.
be any good.
3 hours later.
So do you ever go into Hell's Canyon?
Yeah.
How do you feel about those speed bumps in the villages down there?
Well, I didn't like them driving them, but after listening to friends that live down there, I understand why they're there.
Yeah.
So it's, you don't think about it until they say, hey, there are my kids standing right there. and,
Yeah. Exactly.
So,
So I don't know if you can put.
But I mean, most of the traffic isn't fast traffic, it's semis and other things.
Well, there's fast traffic.
Yeah, but now
Just
there's-
ask G.
Yeah.
well, look at Ben and Megan.
60, 70 mile
Look
an
at
hour
Megan
down
Warren.
that damn road. Now.
I mean, look at Megan Warren and John Bilbo. They got, someone was
Oh yeah, that kid
driving
that tagged
60,
him.
70 mile an hour and hit them down there. So,
Yeah.
I holler at him once in a while.
Well, the speed limit is 15 miles an hour on Commercial Street, but
Yeah.
I don't think anybody knows that.
Well,
or is there signage to put up?
there's
Yeah, there's
signage.
signage.
all
There's
through
signs
there.
up, but they're,
Probably needs better signage.
But that's the drawback of having a nice street.
Right.
that's the reason you contact the
Burnouts.
sheriff and say you start giving warning tickets for 30 days.
Well, that's-
After that, it's a
Oh,
fine.
yeah, I get that,
Well-
but they're never here and they're never gonna, you're
They're
just.
not ever going to sit on Commercial and
Right.
gun people. They sit on the highway and they still don't get tickets anyway.
It was
They
just,
get
it was just an idea, throw it out there.
Yeah.
Cause I've had
Well-
several people, geez, it's gonna be a highway now.
It's already a highway.
Although that, I don't know how ITD would feel about that, because we did kind of sell getting the project for them to be able to use as an alternate through town. And so they don't want to restrict traffic. It's only for an emergency, but,
We just want them to go 15 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That's all we
Well, like I
want.
said, I just throw it out there cause I've had several people say something.
Well, it is
about
our street. We could maybe get some flashy lights so people are going over 15 miles an hour blinds them.
Yeah.
Well, maybe how do they do in Boise? Let's get
Because the
cameras.
lights are too bright.
Get
Oh
ticket.
yeah, get cameras to take pictures.
Anyways, it was just a thought. 'Cause
Yeah,
whatever.
well, it reminds me when I lived in Boise, they redid Franklin Road from Cole down to Curtis. And I was driving on it and it was just so smooth and nice, I didn't even think about it, but I was going like 45 or 50 on a 35-mile-an-hour
Maybe
road
we could
because
put
it was so
roundabouts at
nice.
every street like they do in Boise now. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
I hate those things.
But anyway, that's.
When I'm outside, I'll stand out there and I'll, slow down, you idiot.
uh,
There's a guy in a little town in the middle of nowhere, Nevada. He does that. He sits out in a chair on the edge of the highway coming out of nowhere. Gonna go through this little town at 25 and then back into nowhere. And that's what he does. That's his life.
Yeah.
How about some remote activated spike strips?
Ooh, that's a good idea. He could sell seats.
There's nothing quite like a few pieces of firewood laying on it.
might figure out somewhere to slow people in town.
Or talk to Nick and have him have the cars parked out in the middle of the street. We got one guy sticking out in the street almost halfway right now when he parks.
Okay, so we need to approve the bid.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I second it.
Approve which bid?
800 and some thousand, whoever it is.
The cheap bid.
Lowest
Technically,
bidder.
in the motions, we need the dollar amount and the company and, all that.
Make a motion to approve the bid of $894,522. To,
It was
what's the
seconded
guy's
by,
name?
Compliance, solutions and contracting.
Yeah, Compliance Solution and Contract.
okay, it was seconded by Del Rey, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries.
I have my reason.
I'm going to give him a little bit more money. If I can get a hold of the guy that's there, I'm going to have pavement in front of my garage.
Okay,
One thing, if you don't mind if I say something, just on how we did the bid, I know Darren expressed his concern to me because he said he could be off just this much and it's 25,000 a whack at him type of thing, and it could be big money, and he kind of knew he had to, bid fairly high to protect himself. He said there was a lot of liability in the type of bidding it was done, and so maybe that's something we need to look at in the future to have that done differently. I don't know, but I know he didn't like the total lump sum bidding with the liability in it.
Well, Herco recommended it, so they must have vetted him.
Well, that wasn't on the vetting part. I'm talking about on the specifications and the bidding documents.
Yeah, next time I'll just tell them we don't want lump sum bidding, we want unit price.
okay, next item. Ordinance number 3-2024, regulations for mailboxes and newspaper delivery boxes on city streets. Road. ROW, what's that?
Right of way.
Right of way, okay. I always think of River Odyssey West.
You want me to talk or do you want to
I
talk?
can talk. if you want. What has happened is the post office approached us wanting to put mailboxes in certain areas of town. And it wasn't like they were gonna allow, or they wanted everybody to put a mailbox at their house. They wanted to put clusters of mailboxes. So my vision of what they wanted was 2 wood posts with a 2x6 that's 20 feet long and have 15 different goofy looking mailboxes on the posts. And their goal was that they could put something like that in the right of way and we'd all be happy.
Where's the right of way?
Well, it depends on
Depends all over
what
the
road.
place.
Every road has a right of way to
Okay.
it, and they wanted to put them in the right of way. Well, we did some investigation and we talked to McCall and we talked to Idaho City and
Mainly places that have snow, because snow plowing's a big concern in the right of way. And they changed their ordinance to nothing on the right of way, it has to be on private property, just because they were spending a lot of money in redoing mailboxes for people because of snow plowing.
What's
So-
wrong with the way it's been
Well,
for
just-
40 years?
It's fine, you can, this is, we're talking about this, but anyway, so what I decided, we plow the roads, we plow them about 24 feet wide. We know that most of our right-of-ways are 60 and 80 feet wide, so the mailboxes would have to be off the right-of-way on private property, way back behind the snow berm. And that wouldn't work for the post office, because they'd have to be all plowed out. And so,
The post office won't allow the mail carrier to get out of their vehicle, they have to be able to put it in like
put it
this.
in the box from inside their car. And so we decided that, well, I made it an executive decision that we're not gonna do that.
Sounds good.
Did you see the ones
We're
in
gonna,
Concord
we're gonna, no,
on private property?
We had
Big
already,
unit.
we already allowed a bank of boxes to be put up at the senior housing and a small deal at the apartments when she was first talking about things in town. But then when she told us, she's already got people by the end of this month that have to either have a PO box or something installed. We've had requests all of a sudden to install them, and they're like at American Rafting Company over here and want it on the corner, which there's no possible way on either street that could be accomplished. Plus, we can't guarantee, we don't have parking restrictions on ITD's right of way, or we don't control it. We only control behind the curb. So the post office requires 60 foot of clearance for their mail carrier to get in and get out. And we can't guarantee that for people to come in, if that someone might not be parked there. So that would be a real complication even to deliver mail on either Highway 95 and 71. And those are the rural carrier routes that they're concerned about, especially to start. Those were the people that were getting free mailboxes, but no
Well-
longer can get those.
Plus, ITD requires an encroachment permit for a mailbox anyway, with a minimum of 65 foot turnout, but they prefer 100 foot. So, I mean, yeah.
just not. So anyway, so that's the basis of the ordinance and the basis of what we came up with.
Well, and what I did, after the discussion that the mayor and Corey and I and the postmaster had had, and the mayor, Corey, and I were kind of on the same page as far as, maybe only allowing it on private property. I took the LTAC ordinance, and that's what AIC had sent me, that if we needed something in ordinance, here, go by the LTAC ordinance. I took their ordinance and I mixed McCall and Idaho City's policy within that ordinance. So there might be some things that are kind of stated twice, but I had to kind of hurry to put this together because the post office had to know before the end of the month what we were doing.
Good idea to pass this tonight, and then if we ever need to redo something,
In the wall?
I'm sure you were going over.
How about no mailboxes in the city limits then?
No, I don't like that, because I have a mailbox.
No.
Any that
new
are all-
mailboxes.
Right, no new ones. And by post office standards, we cannot take the ones that already have that service away from them.
Grandfathered in.
I like his better. Grandmother's
She's
day.
grandmother name.
Oh.
So basically, if we're gonna approve a mailbox, you have to go by all them guidelines of, right?
Yeah, it has to be on your private property,
That has to be plowed out.
and it has to meet the
That ain't gonna happen.
It wouldn't be on the mail route too.
USPS standards and LTAC standards.
Like if you wanted a mailbox in front of your house, it couldn't happen because you got the curb and the sidewalk, and your mailbox would be on your property. The mail lady would have to
Well,
get
that's what
out
I'm
of the
saying.
rig,
You can-
and she couldn't do it.
That's what I'm saying, we'll approve what you wanna do, as long as you meet the standards of doing it.
Yeah,
can't.
it has to meet
Right, but
USPS
Yeah,
standards.
But I see your point, but they can't meet the
But
standard.
what I'm saying is, we have it out there that, yeah, you can do this, but you have to meet these standards.
Yeah,
That way it's out of our hands.
yeah.
We'll just put no new mailboxes in city limits.
Well, instead of, no,
Mainly, just.
we'll get
just
100 complaints, well, we can't have mailboxes. Well, if you can apply
If
by
you can
these
put it on your
rules,
private property, you can have one.
yes.
Yeah,
And
but
it's
it's
approved by
got,
the
If it's
postmaster.
approved by the, you can do
still
it.
gotta be on the mail route.
Carrier.
Which. the
Well, I'm not,
postmaster,
I understand what you're
she
saying,
won't
but if
approve
we
it
do
because
it,
she
we're
Totally
covering
understands the
Yeah.
right.
complaints and.
And so she won't approve it, knowing full well that she won't have access to that mailbox.
So how do we write that up? But yeah, if you can pass the.
It's in there. It's already in there by McCall's, policy that I put in there.
Sounds good to me.
But I mean, if we could get something in place right now, so at least the post office kind of can halt things that are starting to transpire and they know that they've got to renew boxes and stuff, we could, a council could always change this later.
Yeah, there's kind of urgency to get this done tonight.
I was just looking for it.
Gee, you were thinking out loud,
I
and
guess
you
I
went,
was.
yes!
Okay. What is the number? Okay. Motion, I make a motion to introduce and read ordinance 3-2024 by title only under suspension of rules and regulations.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Oh, we need a roll call vote?
Councilmember Newman,
Hey,
Councilmember Harrison, Councilmember Rhodes,
Aye.
Councilmember Platt.
Aye.
Ordinance number 3-2024, an ordinance of the city of Cambridge, Idaho, establishing regulations for the accommodation of mailboxes and newspaper delivery boxes on city streets rights of way. Setting a purpose, redesignating Title 7, Chapter 1, Section 4 penalty to Title 7, Chapter 1, Section 5 penalty. Amending Title 7, Chapter 1, Streets, Sidewalks, and Public Ways to include redesignated Title 7, Chapter 1, Section 4 penalty to be amended to the new Title 7, Chapter 1, Section 4 regulations for the accommodation of mailboxes and newspaper delivery boxes on city street rights of way. Establishing city immunity from liability, allowing publication by summary, establishing a savings clause, establishing severability, setting an effective date, establishing a penalty.
Can I interrupt? I want to thank Nan. I had both of those ordinances and the policy and everything put together, but I didn't know how to completely get it in ordinance form with this kind of a statement in the right sections. So I called and begged Nan to help me, and she did. So that's why that sounded so good.
Okay, I make a motion to suspend the rules and regulations and waive the second and third readings and vote on ordinance 3-2024.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call vote?
Councilmember Newman,
aye.
Councilmember Harrison,
Aye.
Councilmember Rhodes,
Aye.
Councilmember Platt,
Aye.
I make a motion to pass ordinance 3-2024 under suspension of rules and regulations on one reading by title only.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call vote?
Councilmember Newman, Councilmember Harrison, Councilmember Rhodes, Councilmember Platt.
Aye.
Done out there.
Make
Yeah.
a motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.